Pizza time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pizza Time podcast. I'm Cage, and today we're going to be talking about Back to the Future with Coley Plays
The man with the worst uploading schedule on the planet.
and Alfie.
McFlurry best dipping sauce.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, it's my first time watching Back to the Future. I rewatched it for this podcast because that's what we do.
Don't think you belong here, Cole.
I was very. I've always lied to people and say, yeah, I've watched Back to the Future. I'm a movie nerd. I'm a massive movie nerd. I've watched
Go
Back to
sit
the
on the
Future.
naughty step.
Yeah, I something I've held up over my head for a while. It's always been on my mind, like, oh, Cole, you never actually watch it. When you tell people you do, but you never actually watch it. But now I can say I have.
Well, you
and
haven't even watched a little bit of it before
I've seen
now.
clips on YouTube sometimes, and I've seen the memes, like, great Scott. But no, I haven't actually watched the film until.
You don't
couple
deserve to
days
say
ago.
that line.
You're
Well, no,
at
let's
26
just
years late, my friend.
disregard. It's all good. I've watched it, and my opinion is it was great.
I watched it
but-
about 20 minutes ago. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was great.
I had a brief recap while I was eating my chicken and chips. So
Rewatching it, I only made it halfway through, but I remember
fair,
most of it.
unpopular opinion, it's not as good as I remembered it, but it's still a really good movie.
Yeah, I think it's like a really good movie, but it's very strange at parts.
Alfie,
it made me
you
feel
better
very
hope that
uncomfortable.
I don't see you on the streets.
No. It's definitely a great movie, but there's just different parts where I felt very uncomfortable when the mum is literally horny as hell for him. Like she's
very
holding herself back.
cringy
It's
film.
not nice to watch.
She is not holding herself back in almost any
She's
of those
very
scenes.
badly trying. it's just yeah. So let's talk about a bit more of the background of the movie. So it came out in 1985. Was directed by what's his name?
Impressive.
Robert Zemeckis. Is that his name? Is that his? I
so.
think that's the name. But yeah, and the
Just
music was
think
composed
it
by
was
one of my favorite composers, Alan Silvestri, who's done a lot. He did the Portals thing for Avengers Endgame. He's big guy. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Was it just me, or did I totally, before rewatching it obviously, I didn't know it was that old. I thought it was at latest 1995.
Yeah, there was
Like,
no
it's-
mobile
it's
phones. It was there was a
yeah.
phone book
Oh,
and stuff like
God.
that. It's
God.
really old, but it was so cool because none of us were born back then, obviously. And I think it's really. I'd love to be in I'd love to shut up. I'd love to have the
Give him
cinema
our social
experience.
security number as well.
Well, it's pretty obvious that voice cry. It's pretty obvious that none of us were born in 1985.
Put
Otherwise,
it
we'd
in
be
the
like,
compilation.
there's the evidence.
yeah. But
Dude.
it's just really cool to see, and it kind of immerses you and feel like, oh, that's what it must have been like back then, and we can't really experience that, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. When they actually go back in time, I think it's actually really cool to see how everything's advertised almost everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
plastered.
I think one
everywhere.
thing that's really cool about this movie though is that you have to really pay attention to the bit before they actually go back in time, because then it I was thinking, oh, why are they showing this long ass conversation about the family and how they met and stuff? It's a bit boring. But then you realize that it's actually so important to the plot later on, because I hadn't seen it before, so I literally knew nothing about it. All I knew is that
Such a
they have to
weak
go back in
mindset.
time and have to go back to the future. But it was really good.
Mhm.
I want to
Um,
say though, oh, I know you go first.
Okay. Well, it's just you obviously the whole point of it is that it's supposed to show stuff when it's modern day, and then when they go back in time, it's all crazy and it's changed. But I think just in time travel movies themselves, I always find it really cool when they do so when the guy who's trying to rerun for mayor,
Oh yeah.
when he's back inside, Marty's the one that gives him the idea to become mayor.
Yeah, says he's gonna be
Yeah.
mayor, and then he says, I swear, and then he actually does. He actually does. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I'm gonna be
I
mayor
want
one day.
I want to say that this movie has the theme for the movie is very good. The Back to the Future theme. I've always heard of it and then never actually understood it. But from watching
There are
it
a
now,
few themes in
it's
there.
so
They know how
good.
to pick music. I can say.
Oh yeah,
that.
the 80s
theme's
music
very
from it
well
is so
done.
good. There's
Well, they have the one song playing
Yeah.
throughout the thing, and fun fact, the guy who when they're he's playing the guitar at the school for the band.
oh yeah, the
practice
Johnny
or
B
whatever.
Johnny B Good song, whatever it's
No,
called.
no, no. Before that, at the start.
Oh yeah.
like when
Mhm.
he was doing it for the judges,
Mhm.
the song that was playing throughout the start of like when he was going to school.
Got Power of Love.
Yeah, Power of Love.
That's the power
The
of love.
judge that says he's bit like that
Oh,
Marty's
is it
too
the guy who
loud.
like wrote it or something?
Yeah, he's the guy who wrote
Oh,
the
that's a pretty
song.
cool fun fact. Well, let me hit you with
Didn't
another
know
one
that.
then.
Thank you, Cage.
Let me hit you with another fun
Mm.
fact, Mister
Ooh.
Fun Fact. Wait. So
Yes.
I have a fun fact on this list of fun facts. Yeah, have you ever watched a movie called The Mask? Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Eric Stoltz from The Mask was actually Marty McFly. So basically,
Yeah.
the movie began production with the actor Eric Stoltz playing Marty McFly, and then
Oh yeah.
the director wanted Michael J. Fox, or who we have now, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, they
But he
they
was
wanted
busy.
him from the beginning. Yeah.
But then after 5 weeks of filming, the director was fed up, and he pretty much just told him to piss off and got Michael J. Fox in. Said he could do both projects, and then Stoltz was fired, and then they got the good actor, and then they restarted it again.
Counterfact.
Oh,
To your
okay.
fact, they were actually being really nice about it, like trying to be nice not to fire him. But because he was a method actor, he would insist that everyone called him Marty.
Oh, that must be
So
really annoying. Yeah.
and then over the phone when he was about to fire him, he was like trying to be nice and being like, okay, so I've got to talk to you about something, and then said his name, like his real name, and then he was like, no, no, it's Marty, and then he was like, no,
Oh.
it's not, you're fired. He
That's
just had
actually like an
enough of it.
iconic line.
He just
then.
had enough of it.
That's actually quite. Yeah, he must have been really like, no, it's not Marty. You're fine.
No, not anymore.
It's good for them because it's good for them to get into character, but just shut up. It's
Yeah,
just annoying.
yeah, it's
Okay.
Here's my fun fact before we actually get started.
damn.
Okay.
The person who actually played the father, what his name was, Crispin Glover, I believe. He actually didn't really like the ending.
Oh,
In his opinion, he thought it was really bad.
what, the guy who plays his dad?
Yeah, he plays as George McFly.
Why?
Is
Why
there-
He
didn't
did not like
Yeah,
the
is there a
ending.
reason?
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, to him, it was felt that like his belief was the moral of the film was money means happiness, because then they were seen as richer,
Oh right.
and they just man-made Biff. So
Well,
Yeah.
it looked like the moral of the story was money and not actual love.
Well,
And
no,
that kind
but
of
I mean,
spoiled the ending,
like
which I can
that.
kind of understand.
It's more like he got back everything got back to normal, but it's just better. Like not like
Yeah, I like
that
the ending, but
happiness
people
only
have
came
different
from
beliefs,
it.
don't they?
It came from money, but like it did just like it's supposed to be like the happy ending that like the bad guy, the bully, didn't get all that money in the end, but instead the nice guy got it.
But
Yeah.
one thing that's pretty interesting.
Well, I say
fact.
nice guy loosely, considering at the start of the movie he's a peeping tom,
Here's
but
something that ties
Yeah.
in with it as well.
You know,
At
Michael J.
that point,
Fox. Yeah,
what's
keep
up?
going, sorry. Keep going.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this sort of ties in with the fact, because he wasn't actually brought back into the sequel, Crispin Glover, because apparently he couldn't act like an adult, because he had struggled to get Glover to act like a human being, as he said. So then they
Yeah.
dropped him, and then they jumped at the chance to have another George McFly that replaced him with an actor with a latex mask. And honestly, Glover sued for that, and he managed to win the court case, and he got a mill from it.
Well,
So
that is
get
success.
$1 million for a movie you didn't even get in. It's pretty good going.
Yeah, probably it's more than some of the actors in the movie.
Fair
my
enough.
when I
Yeah.
watched the movie, I also researched a little bit about it, and I wrote three like short one sentence things that are interesting. Did you know like things? So
Yeah.
ready, three
Fact
things,
on fact
quick
on
fire.
fact.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox is 3 years older than his on-screen dad, Crispin Glover. Did you know that? He's 3 years old. So yeah, that makes sense with your fact. He struggles to be like a real person. The time between completion of shooting and the film's release was just 10 weeks, which is like record time, because 1985 movies went by really fast like that. And then also, despite the sci-fi subject, there are only 32 special effects shots in the entire movie. Boom.
And I
Aha!
must say, all of them
Counterfact.
got pretty badly.
Another. You know the near the end of the film, when Doc's on the clock tower trying to catch the lightning.
Oh yeah.
The reason they were shouting so loud was one because obviously they had to have like massive fans to make it look like there was a storm happening, and two because oh god, I'm blanking on the name. I knew it, but I'm blanking on the name of Doc's actor. But he was afraid of heights, so he was just
like-
constantly
yeah.
Christopher
shouting.
Lloyd.
Yeah, he was constantly shouting while on the top of the thing. And obviously, because if it was modern day, he wouldn't be up there. It would be like green screen or something. But,
Yeah, I have a question. When you guys watch this film, were you like really confused? Is he like super old or is he like medium old? I couldn't decide.
To be
Because like,
fair, when you go 30 years in the past, he looks the exact same.
yeah,
well, no,
just like with a haircut.
because they did like makeup effects, didn't they? You can see like around his neck in the start of the film.
Yeah, you can
like,
see that
it
with the
makes it
parrot
look
as
all
well. They
wrinkly.
look like
Pretty familiar.
fatter and stuff.
Yeah,
they
it,
do
it
what
was
they did
pretty
with the
not.
other
It's
actors.
not really changed
Mhm.
much.
With the other,
but I mean,
with the other actors, apart from Crispin Glover, him, I think it was only him and the Doc that weren't replaced by like 30 years before different actors to make them look younger.
yeah.
I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
were the two that looked the exact same, but had
Mhm.
effects done to them to make them look older.
Yeah. And I also want to say, you've all watched Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick and Morty is actually like based off of, because Rick and Morty started off as like a little animation of like something else called like Dr. Fly and then Michael or something.
Yes, I do know
and,
this.
Yeah, and then because it's based off of Back to the Future, but then just more wacky and more R-rated kind of in a way.
Instead of
Um,
Morty.
Yeah, and then it evolved into the show it is now. So that's pretty cool. But we talked about facts for quite a while now. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah, I
dive
was gonna
into
say, actually get onto the actual.
let's dive into the
story.
actual movie. How does it begin? Is it that like scene like with the clocks going? I like that opening. The opening scene to this film is really
Yeah.
good.
And then
Yeah.
and then he does the
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Whoa,
sends him
rock and
flying.
roll. Oh, that's so cool.
Whoa. Yeah.
And then skateboards to school, and then like, oh,
Yeah.
it's really good. I love
That
opening scene to
amazing
this.
parallel music in the background.
Yeah, and he hitches onto like
Incredible.
cars and stuff, and it's made me think like
That's like the
awesome.
whole however he gets around, he just jumps on the back. And I don't know how normal this was back then, but you can't really do that now. Especially, or
Oh yeah,
maybe-
nowadays the roads would either be
maybe
too
in
busy.
America, but in England, if you're on the back of someone's car, either they would notice or everyone else in other
Mhm.
cars would notice,
Yeah,
and it'd be dumb. Yeah.
but then also like later in the movie, he gets like a wooden plank and puts some wheels on it or something somehow, and then just like gets his own little mini skateboard. And then
No,
it's-
yeah, it was
yeah.
the kid from
Oh yeah, he takes his
like
little wooden
he
plank.
like pulls the thing off and then uses it as a skateboard.
It is
But,
tis Pog, and
tis
also
very Pog.
the guy who plays Martin McFly, Michael J. Fox, he's a pretty good author now apparently. But I think he's actually like suffering from what's it called? It's like Parkinson's. That's it. Pretty not cool. You know?
I mean, that was a fact we didn't really need to know.
Yeah, that was the opposite of a mood.
Now I'm
lighter.
sad, but okay.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay,
anyway.
so moving on.
Moving on to the actual movie.
We sort of like the principal character I hate
Yeah.
more than the bully, and I
Yeah,
don't know why.
Yeah, I see what you mean because that reminds me of like the way obviously it shows like they have conversations and then when he goes back in time they had that exact same conversation but with his dad rather than him, like with the
Mhm.
principal. I feel like they do that a bit too often. They like and it's a bit too unrealistic the way that like he'll say you're a slacker McFly, you're a slacker McFly, and then he goes back in time and then it says the exact same conversation the exact same way.
A lot of the dialogue
Like,
is the exact same.
The
Yeah.
first time it was very intense. Like he
Yeah.
gets right up in his face.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. I was
Like-
because I watched it for the first time with my dad, and then I just looked at him and just went, "They're really close." Like Looks like they're
damn near
it looks like they're about to
kissing.
make out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit
Like,
weird. That's what the
damn.
character
Like
Principal Vagina is
man's
based
like
off of.
20 minutes late, and apparently it's just his career done.
Yeah.
That's his mindset.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
Go on,
the
let's do that.
actual because obviously there's like the plot development bit and it talks about it. Basically, the whole first bit of the movie before they go back in time is just saying stuff like, oh, so the clock tower struck by lightning. All this stuff that's gonna matter later in the movie. It's just setting it
Yeah.
up, which I think is
And
really
it just
cool. On your
at
first time
first
watching,
it
you don't
does
see
feel
that.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
the conversation bit.
we don't need to know this, but then
Mhm.
it is
And
just
one
To be
thing
a
I
fair,
really
it has
noticed.
it has
There you go.
a little bit of politics in it as well, because it's all about like different parties, what they want with the city, and then with the
Yeah.
town even, and then you go back later and that you can see how it's all went down.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of different
It's-
then versus now. It's like a lot of the dialogues are the same, but a little bit tweaks. Like with Biff and George McFly, it's like homework versus the reports,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it's like the clock tower. You can see how it got destroyed.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that was
I think
really cool.
it's
the
cool how
lightning
they keep
strike.
referencing it because with this movie in general, there was a lot of potential plot holes,
Yeah,
but
you have to
they
really
covered
pay
up quite a
attention.
few of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
they covered up the majority. It was kind of a gamble for them, pretty much the entire film, because time travel may seem cliche, but it's actually quite hard to.
This is
pull
like the
off.
first proper time travel
Yeah.
movie, I'm pretty sure, like back then. And it kind of like introduced the whole.
They've
You
done very
can't
well.
talk. Yeah, it was good.
And I mean, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest. movies of all
I'm
time.
genuinely shocked that you have never watched it before.
I've just never had like anywhere to watch it. I never had the DVD, and then it was never on Netflix or anything. We had to find some illegal, not illegal way to watch it.
I don't know about that
Oh,
one,
I'd rely on
Chief.
YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, then
Yeah.
like these last two films, like because I can't find my Spider-Man DVD. It's on our recent podcast.
You're Team
And
Amazon in the
I couldn't find
comments.
the DVD. Yeah, YouTube playlist just come in clutch because there's just someone
Yeah.
that's just playlisted the whole movie. That's what I
Yeah.
did this time as well.
But I just find
Very
playlist
easy.
ones too annoying because then you can't really watch it like in the full.
Can't watch it
cinematic
in
presence.
full detail, and a few of the clips kind of cut off like a bit short, but you still get the most of it.
Yeah. Plus, you've seen it
Right.
before, haven't you? So you kind of know.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
basics.
It used to be on Netflix, but it's not anymore because
Yeah.
Netflix just does that thing where they take off.
But one thing I
different
wanted to
things.
point out, which
Netflix
really made my
movie
really made my movie nerd brain go a bit crazy, is that like it shows how much movies have changed. So obviously nowadays, say like someone's walking down the street in like in a movie, any kind of movie nowadays, it'll keep constantly cutting between different points of views. But when you see it, then it's like
It's just
just
one
long
long
takes.
shot.
So many long takes, and they're
Yeah.
really cool. I love it. Like when he's walking down the street in the first bit of the movie with his girlfriend. It's just like a really good long take of them talking, and then it's just like you realize that it's just acting, like solid acting, rather than cutting and then taking breaks. It's just really good. I like that a lot.
Do you know how much it costed the film? Because I mean, back then, to have like that whole set and like all
Yeah.
the cars going
Tell
up,
me
like,
the
how-
budget and then how much it made in general, like in box office.
It made a huge turnout. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I want to see this. Back to the.
While he's
Future
doing that,
budget.
there's like there's loads of different scenes where it shows obviously like obviously the changes, like it's the whole point of the movie where it goes back and forth of what it looks like today and then what it used to look like.
They did very well, like kind of just redecorating the entire.
Yeah, you feel the
like,
color
centre.
change. You feel like the kind of
Yeah.
grey.
You can.
feel
They
the
put a
grey
lot of
50s.
effort into like the design of
Yeah,
an
into the
entire
50s it's
centre.
grey.
Usually people just do like kind of just either green screen it all.
Mm-hmm.
But
then-
since it's 1985, that sort of thing doesn't really exist yet. It's
Yeah.
not. It can't really be used
But
properly.
it's
So
it's the
they
fact
like,
that it does.
redecorate the entire centre and have different outfits for the people to make it look like it's 1955, which I think is really well done.
Yeah.
You can see
Oh,
the
when
detail in them.
when they keep making fun of like the puffer jacket.
Oh yeah,
that
how it's like
Marty's wearing.
how it's like he's
It
gone
says it's like
overboard.
a
Yeah.
lifesaver or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. So yeah, I found it. So, oh my god. So Back to the Future in the United States, the budget was $19 million US. I want you to take your guess on how much it
Sheesh.
made. I'll give you a clue.
Uh,
It's in the millions, surprisingly.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say $1 billion, but obviously this is in
Avengers Endgame only made $2 billion, so that
yeah,
is
this
what
is
was
and this is back then. So Say 19 million.
9 million budget. So how much did it
Yeah.
make in total box office in the
I'm
cinema?
gonna say. I shouldn't go too high. Say 30 million, 40 million.
Okay, Alfie, that's your final guess now. You can't change.
Yeah,
Alfie, what
I'll say,
about you?
I'll say it's like 20 million. Because bear in mind that it'll be the money
Alright,
changes
what-
throughout the.
They're
Like,
only
'cause
just
now-
breaking through.
Yeah.
Oh, how wrong you are. I'm gonna round it from 388 million to 400 million, pretty much.
Jesus
That is-
Christ.
Yep.
That's
Same thing
insane.
with like
Fair enough.
Same thing with like Friday the 13th, the original one. I don't think it was like, I don't think it was even like over 500,000 budget, and it made like a bit under Back to the Future, but like it made like a couple million.
Oh
It's
my
crazy how
God.
much like old movies back then,
And that's-
how
and
much they
that's,
can make
like-
on a low budget.
I mean, it's
crazy.
not old money, but like that's back when
Yeah.
money was a lot more.
Let's
if
talk
that
about
makes sense.
the yeah, I know what you mean. Where stocks and all that.
They
money
made a
stuff.
huge turnout as well.
Yeah, let's
'Cause
talk about
their
the
budget
acting.
was like 20 mil, and that's what I guessed how much they got.
Mhm.
So that's really impressive.
You thought they were just scraping by.
Yeah,
Right,
let's
they
talk,
were
let's
I don't
talk
think
about
I
the
did-
acting.
They make a lot in them days.
Mm.
But no, that's very impressive.
Also, considering they had to reshoot all of like
The
all
first
the
5
different
weeks.
clips with the new Marty,
Yeah.
I think that's pretty decent.
Yeah, let's talk about the actor's performance and like in general and like each individual one. I think
Oh.
the doc portrays like very good
Best
that's why, like,
character.
that's where like the stereotype of a mad scientist kind of comes from. He really gives that kind of stereotype, which I think is pretty cool.
I love Doc. He's
Yeah.
so cool. He's like in
Very
the
unique
first
character,
first
I must
podcast
say.
we talked about how great Jonah Jameson is in
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, he's like that in this
Bro,
first
it's
movie.
like this.
No, he's
so,
kind
he's
of the
so
Willem Dafoe
good.
version of Back to the Future. He's just really
He's-
maniacal, but then at the same time, he do be spitting facts in a lot of scenes. There's a lot of stuff I don't understand, but they make
Mm.
it sound smart so that it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
was it the
wait,
flux capacitor? The flux capacitor.
Flux-
I'm on about
capacitor,
like
yeah.
the gigawatts and that. 'Cause it
Gig-
sounds
Yeah, no, but
Oh,
he says gigawatts. He says
Oh, yeah.
gigawatts, doesn't he?
He says gigawatts. Yeah, it's
Uh,
very funny. And then Marty's like,
might be how it's
giga
pronounced,
what?
I don't know, innit?
Gigawatt?
If you can't tell, I'm pretty
Gigawatt,
bad at
gigawatt.
science.
Yeah. I want to.
Yeah.
So yeah,
As
Doc's
you can tell, we're
performance was
like all about. Yeah.
great. What?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
nothing.
Doc's performance was amazing. I think I love the way that because we can't relate to it, but back then it's like kind of like rock and roll and all that kind of stuff. I think it was really cool seeing Marty McFly's performance or Michael J. Fox. I love
Yeah.
that as well. And then there's the parents. They were alright. I think it was a bit too cliche how klutzy the dad was when he was in Back in Time, and I think it was a very like cliche high school being bullied and then stands that like kind of thing.
Yeah. But
But
it's
you
the
can
fact
kinda
that like
bypass
they did the whole like nerd. Oh, I like writing stories about
Science fiction.
out-
And then it's
science
like
fiction.
my name is Darth Vader.
My name is Darth Vader.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the main actors really of the film. Those are really good. What are your thoughts about the plot, Alfie? Just like the main plot. What are your general thoughts about it?
Yeah, I see what you mean. There's quite a few loopholes in it.
Yeah, but that comes with a time travel movie.
But yeah, but
especially
to be
back
honest,
then.
do you really think you would employ as your car cleaner the man who nearly raped your wife? Would you?
Yeah,
That doesn't make a lot of
see what you
sense to
mean.
me. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I'd just get. a
I
train
mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
fair
that
enough.
scene where he was like, that was
the man
really
who nearly
disturbing.
raped
This,
his
this
wife
is a
and then
family.
just
it's a
sparked
family
him,
movie.
You'd employ as your window
Yeah, this is a
cleaner.
family
Obviously,
movie.
it's cool because you see
classic.
how it turned out for Biff in the end. He went from being
Yeah.
a bit of a snarky boss to just absolutely man-made by
Yeah.
George McFly.
But I think it's a bit like it's a family
at the same
classic
time, it's a
PG
bit-
movie, and then it's
Yeah.
just like he's forcing himself onto a
yeah,
woman.
it
It's
gets
really
it gets
uncomfortable
very
to watch.
dark.
It's a bit over the top. I think Zemeckis
Yeah.
went a bit too far.
Yeah,
I think he was
it-
What-
going a little
I felt
What
a
too
bit
age
sick.
rating is this movie again?
Yeah, I felt a bit sick when he's like
Oh,
pushing.
yeah.
He's like, "You got the wrong car, buddy," and he's like just on top of. I did not like
Yeah,
that scene. It
it's-
was very
Makes no
uncomfortable.
sense how it goes from George McFly just being absolutely clobbered, and then he managed to knock out Biff in one punch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
like
like,
that
she's
as well.
just.
Makes no
And I love
sense.
how I hate how she's like
Fully
casually.
knocks him out.
She's pretty much like, bluntly speaking, she's pretty much about to get raped, and then she just sees him, and then just kisses. Does he kiss him right after? If they just go into the dance, all nothing
yeah,
happens.
it's the
and then
same. It's the
this
same
It's
thing
kinda
as what
not
happened in Spider-Man when
Yeah.
she's in the
Yeah,
alley
yeah, I know what you
and then
mean, the alley.
immediately kisses the. Is this a trope?
Back then, well, no, these are quite far apart movies, but like, back yeah.
Such a natural cause.
Is this just how it happens in
Yeah,
films?
that is a very
did that
strange
just
thing.
happen? Yeah.
Cage, what are your thoughts about the
I mean,
general
that's what
plot?
happened in Spider-Man.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
What are your thoughts about the general plot of the movie, like in just your
General
opinion
plot.
of it?
I mean,
Like the
for
writing kind of thing.
obviously I love time travel films. I think they're sick. If I had one superpower, it would be time travel. But
Mm.
I mean, as Alfie said, there are a couple plot holes here and there. But I mean, as a whole film, I think they're easy to look past.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, love it.
I want to speak a little bit about
Yeah,
like the.
Yeah, we can continue to talk about the plot later when we're doing the list.
Yeah.
But now let's actually focus on the story.
Oh
But,
yeah, so
Yeah. Anyway,
I think it's very the very I just can't get the. I was watching it right, and I was like, I'm enjoying this. It's pretty classic movie vibes. And then it's just the whole goes back in time, catches his dad sleeping. I was like, the whole I just don't like the idea now of the plot of like the whole thing is that he's trying to get his mum to stop wanting to have sex with him. Pretty much, it's not nice.
You don't. I mean, it doesn't really
I
need to be
mean,
said like that, but yeah.
yeah,
Kind of.
it's.
The movie does
yeah.
make you feel really uncomfortable at parts.
It does get
It's
quite
not-
uncomfortable.
I
But
don't
I
like
mean,
cringe movies, and when he's just like you got the nerd trying to ask out the puppy, like the fit girl, it's just a bit
You
cringe.
just made it so
Oh,
British then. Yeah.
yeah.
the fit girl, yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah,
ask a question. I had an idea, so I wanted to ask this question to all of you. Let's start with Cage first. If
Yeah.
you could do one thing with time travel, like if you could do one thing, what would you do?
Okay.
Like you had
Um,
one time to go back to, and then you can come back at any time. What would
What
that
can I
one?
go future and past, or
You
is
could go to
it
the future, but then you have to go back. You have to go back. Like that's all you have time
back
for.
to the future?
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
you could go to the past and back.
What?
or
Just
to
the
and
future,
back.
or can I go to?
Yeah,
the past?
you have one move that counts there and back. So Cage, you can go first.
Yeah, but is it?
Oh,
Is
but
it? Can
after-
I go anywhere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but does that mean so I can go? So let's say I go to 1969, watch the moon landing. Can I still stay there after that? Like, can I stay there as long as I want? And then
You can
go
stay there as
back?
long as you want, but like you can't keep going further back. You have the only way you can go is back to where you first were.
Can I go back and forth? So I go there, go back to the present, and then
Nope,
go
it's
back
just
there
one
again,
trip
or is
there
it
and
just
back.
one
but
trip?
they can
Okay.
one trip there and back that can last however long you want. Go. Where would you go?
I don't know because I mean, as soon as you pass as soon as you get to World War Two, it's a bit crappy. So
Well,
Uh,
for me, do you want a
I'm-
genuine answer or
You
just
can
a
go to the
meaty one?
future.
yeah,
I would
Alfie
love
go.
that.
Alfie go.
You can do a genuine answer if you want. Like, where would you
Well-
go? What would you do?
My genuine answer would just to like just to see like my actual like long term family because I want to see my genuine granddad. I ain't trying to make this deep, but
Yeah, like
I wanted to meet
ancestors
him
and
because I
stuff.
didn't really know like my mum's grandparents until they died when I was like 5. So I want to go and back to see them. My meme answer is just give Greg Paul a condom.
Well
Oh,
then.
nice.
that was a
Amazing.
good meme
Amazing.
answer.
I got way too. That got way too deep for
Amazing.
me.
I
Just-
think.
Yep. Cage, go for
I
it.
don't know because
Yeah, what are you thinking?
it depends. If it's obviously now, like me now, like having this power, I don't know. I have different answers because when I'm older, I would probably say go back in time before COVID and try and warn as many people as possible. But like obviously if it's now, obviously no one's gonna believe me and like it's just gonna
Yeah, you can,
end
like,
up
bring
the
back
same.
Oh, if it was
stats to
now, we're
Boris
already in
Johnson.
lockdown, so they would believe you now.
But I mean, if it is now, I'd probably say Oh God, I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's fine.
No, I do want to answer, but there's like so many different possibilities. You could either
Well,
go
just
really
pick
far
one
back and
that's kind
just
of
Give us
going
an
round your head.
example. Give us an
Alright.
example.
So, like, for example, you could say go back to see a major historical event, like go fist bump Abe Lincoln, like.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, lots of people would say like, "Oh, go kill Hitler," but I mean, he ends up dead anyway.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of things.
you
There's a lot of
could
good
end
things
up
that come out of
changing it
him dying and
to
stuff.
be like there's actually another world war that is started by another person,
Yeah.
and then
Repercussions.
all of this. Yeah, there's the whole idea of repercussions and paradoxes. If it,
Mhm.
I wonder who
my
thought
meme
that. That
answer
was
would be to cause a
bizarre.
paradox, which is to go back to when I was born, chef myself up, and then but just to cause a paradox, just to see what happens. Because if
You
I
probably
if I've
die.
yeah, but if I've killed myself, then I wouldn't have been able to grow up, go back in time to then kill myself.
That is a good point.
What?
I guess you could use the Avengers Endgame time. Wait,
That's
so
such
what,
an
let's just talk about that.
unnecessary
You would like to go back and kill yourself. Okay, well.
No, but
Thing is, I wouldn't feel
I just want to
responsible
cause a
with the
paradox
power of
just to
time
see what
travel.
would happen.
You want to talk about something, Cage? Anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't want to kill myself.
So
But
if you got a time machine, the first thing you do is spark yourself.
God's sake.
That's
No,
what- that's
that
what
was
I'm
just an
getting.
example, like just to cause a paradox. That was the
Yeah,
first
fair enough.
paradox that
The
came
thing
to
is, I
mind.
just wouldn't trust myself for time travel.
Bit of a risky
I'd make
paradox.
way too many mistakes.
Yeah, very
To
risky.
be fair though, you could make such good bank off of just nicking someone's ideas. Like I could just go back in time and make Facebook,
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
but like,
and
do you want
I'd
to
be
be?
the
Do
new
you want to
Mark
be?
Zuckerberg.
Do you want to be the Zuckman?
Yeah, he's a god.
Well,
It's a robot.
I think one thing like my serious answer, like you guys are doing, my serious answer would be like probably find out nowadays what like stock market, not stock market, what's it called? What's like the Bitcoin? That's it. Bitcoin
just
stuff.
invest in Bitcoin.
damn.
Yeah, the ones that I knew were gonna work now.
Invest
The
in
ones that I knew would
Bitcoin.
work. It gets to like millions.
Well, I
Well,
can
anyway,
get
this
done
conversation
in
went on
Bitcoin.
way longer than I thought it would. So I was
Yeah,
successful.
wait,
Let's go back to the
the-
movie.
Yeah,
Back to
way
the
Back
too
future.
to the
excited. We're
future.
no
We need to
good
go
at
back
this.
to the future, okay?
Okay. So is
Yeah,
there
we're
any
way-
like
we're getting way
specific
too
any
bad at this.
specific things that you guys actually want to like say about the movie? Because I'm still in a conversation, but is there anything you guys want to say?
I mean, I mean, it's great acting, great. I've
Cast is
personally
perfect
enjoyed
for
it
me,
quite a
yeah.
lot, so I think for me, it's going to get a very high pizza list
The
score.
question is, will it go over Spider-Man or not?
We'll get there when
I
we
can't,
get there.
I can't
Cole.
Yeah.
lie. Here's an unpopular opinion. Can you just serve mute Cage for me? Because I know he's going to respond to this.
Okay, just let Alfie speak.
I'm not. I felt like it was the beginning of the movie was a bit of a drag. I
But
feel
then
like
it
was
makes
just
sense.
more filler than anything. No, until
What
the
did he
part where
say?
like they actually bring in like Doc. Before he gets brought in, it's kind of just a lot of filler. There
Yeah,
isn't
but,
there isn't
yeah.
any like genuine character development either.
Yeah, but it's like
You
it's trying to set up for the rest of the movie. We've already talked.
Yeah, I wouldn't
about
say
this,
it's
Alfie.
filler. I'd say
Like,
it is character development
it's-
by letting them develop.
Well, no, it may be filler, but it's useful filler. Like normally in filler movies, it's
Okay.
just to give out more like time.
Like the first
to
20 minutes,
say,
I just
oh,
wouldn't
get
really
to
watch
get
it.
to
No,
get to an
big
hour and a
getting
half.
sidetracked.
But like, it's more. It's actually for the rest of the movie.
I know
It's not just
it's
random.
obviously not intended, but I feel like the first time it's a movie for me was more of like a nostalgia thing. I mean, obviously I wasn't alive back then, but like it's cool to see what it was like, and I think that was kind of the best part about me watching it for the first time, and then like it being 1995 and now we're in 2021. I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the idea that obviously it's not in this movie, and when we do the like Back to the Future 2 or 3, which is the one where they go into the future,
That's
actual
Back to
future?
the Future 2, I think. I
Two.
haven't watched it, but
Well, in the second one, when it's when they say, "Oh, this is 2015," and they've got all
Oh,
of
yeah,
this
it's hoverboards and
crazy
stuff.
technology and like hoverboards and everything, and we're sitting in 2021 with a virus. Lovely, good one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
For
one,
online
humanity.
learning.
Well, there's like Elon
Yeah,
Musk
we've
stuff
got
that in
online
2030
online
we might have
learning.
stuff in our
Well,
heads
yeah,
like chips.
in 2020, I bet there'll be flying cars. No,
Well,
Microsoft Teams.
actually, have you seen there's this video on YouTube. Oh, sorry, tangent, but there's this video on YouTube. These people have actually made a hoverboard, but obviously it doesn't work on like normal
Oh,
pavement.
Hacksmith, yeah, I've seen.
Yes, them. And it
How do they
works.
do that?
Like it's
go against
magnets.
law.
They do it with Wait, no, that's illegal.
Yeah, it's magnets and then
Just
like
just
No,
by
it's
reality.
it's
Like,
with
they made like a
magnets.
real lightsaber.
Yeah, they made a lightsaber as well. But anyway, look, we're going off
I wish I
topic. We're
could
going
be
off
there.
topic. Um,
Yeah, they'll make a time traveling machine in like 2 years. I can guarantee it.
Well, wait. Let me tell you this.
Make it have an
If
Audi
so think
R8.
about it. If there is time travel in the future, people are probably they've probably like multiple realities and multiverse and stuff like that. People have probably gone back in time. Like it's already been made. If there ever is going to be one made, it probably has been made, just in a different timeline.
well, no, there's always the thing where you like you say out loud when you're with a bunch of your friends. Well, not now, but you used to, or at least I did, where I say if we were about to do something stupid, like I don't know, do parkour or something. I mean, I'm not very good at it, but yeah. Anyway, if you're
Oh,
about to
yeah.
do it,
Watch me
you'd
climb
say
some
like,
buildings.
okay, future me, if I'm about to break my legs and become paralyzed, just come back and tell me not to do it, and then you just wait for a second and see if it happens. So I mean, luckily I'm not paralyzed, but
Oh,
it's
Okay. I want to talk about something. What are your thoughts on the potential of a Back to the Future remake? Would you want that?
Bro, this is I'm gonna retract my.
'Cause there's been a lot of rumors around recently.
No, but yeah, well, no, this was there was rumors since like
It's been quite a while, but it's been
since
picking
like
up a bit again recently.
2015.
Yeah.
When everyone was talking about, oh, we should have Hogwarts. Is there going to be another remake? I
Would you
would
want
love to see another remake because I mean, we've still got Doc and Marty, so
I'd want it to be very different. I want it to be like similar, but different. Like it's not just
How
like the
old
exact
is,
same movie with different actors.
Christopher Donald, if that's his name.
Oh, I think it's
How
like
old is he
80
now?
something now.
Yeah,
But
he's
like
proper old,
80
but he's
something.
still he's
Christopher
still got
Lloyd,
it. I
I got
think
it
because
wrong.
have you seen? I think it was like I don't know whether it was Saturday Night
Uh,
Live, but they went on like a
Oh
on
yeah, I know what
a
you mean.
thing and they
Oh, I thought he was way older.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Um,
the reason why I'm talking about this because I've found an article apparently where it's like Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland. Like imagine if they were like if they made one where it's like them as the two main characters. So Robert Downey Jr. as Doc.
Oh,
Because I feel like he could play a good Doc maybe. But I
mean,
feel like Tom
yeah,
Holland
but
is
I
such a good
mean-
actor. I'd love to see him as Martin.
Tom Holland could
McFly.
probably play Marty, but I think there could be no other Doc.
True, I guess.
There's only one Doc, right? It's like the same. Well, using Robert Downey Jr., you can't recast Iron Man, can you?
I'd be open to a remake,
Yeah, Black
but
Panther. You can't replace it.
Yeah, you
yeah,
can't.
I'd be open to
you're
a
right.
remake, but I don't. I think
I
it'd have to
don't
be a bit
think,
different.
the
It wouldn't
Russo
have to be the
brothers
same
want to
thing.
either.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yes.
If you were gonna write like if you were given the key to being able to make the new film, what would you make it about?
Oh well, like I think I would keep it on the
Do you
same
wanna make a
like
part
thing,
4?
but
I
oh,
highly doubt
yeah.
they're gonna ever release.
So it could be
one.
like the same concept, but like different way of doing it. So
I
different
would do
timelines.
it completely different. I would make it a whole different type of film than the rest of them. I'd make
Okay.
it so like they messed up something big in the past, and now they have to go through time fixing all of their mistakes. Sort of like some of the film, but like it's all war themed. Like because obviously they're older now, it will be like they're just seasoned time travelers,
Yeah.
and like they've gone through loads of different points in time trying to fix that first mistake that they made.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I
I
mean,
think it would be cool.
although they did leave it off with they had to in the last movie.
Oh yeah. The last bit
that they
was
had
like
to.
the last bit was like just teasing the second movie. Really, I thought that was pretty cool. That's made me want to watch the second one because it actually is like it's not you, it's your kids, Marty.
It's your kids, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch number 2 soon. Probably not do it on the podcast for a while because it's like a bit too repetitive, but I definitely want to watch number 2 at some point.
Yeah. How do you rewrite it though? Like, what would be the basic storyline?
I don't know. If I was gonna do a remake, I want to keep it very similar, but like just kind of like the Jungle Book did. Like the Jungle Book, like say Disney with live action
What?
remakes. No, listen. So like with live action remakes, Lion King and what's it called, Beauty and the Beast. They were live action remakes of the animated thing, but they were literally the exact same thing, just live action, no changes. Whereas Jungle Book, they did a couple changes. They did quite a few changes, and I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of thing where it's not like it's the same storyline, but just like more updated and better.
What, you would remake it?
Well, yeah, I'd do a remake. I wouldn't just. Yeah, I thought I was talking about remakes. How we'd write.
No,
a
I was
remake.
talking about if you could make the next film.
Oh, like a. Oh, okay, I see. Well,
I
I'd
don't
probably
think
do.
that could be one though.
No, I don't think they'll ever make another one.
Eh,
But like,
No,
If they
will
are
never-
gonna make a
it
new
will
one,
never
it
be
would
done.
be a remake. If they are gonna make another one.
They'd have to do a new cast. I'm pretty sure.
and it would
uh,
not be well
already
received.
retired now.
Like, just
No.
saying, it would.
Well,
not.
you
You
never
can't
know.
replace a cast. For
Yeah,
10
like
years.
people
Can't do
people shouted. People were very angry that Heath Ledger was gonna be Joker, and then they saw The Dark Knight and were like, well, shit.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, the thing
yeah,
is
but
with
that's
Joker,
different
if
though
that-
because with
yeah.
Batman they've had loads of different types of Jokers and loads of different types of Batmans.
Well, no, at that
But
point,
with
there's
this, it's
only
only well, same thing.
two. Okay.
But this one, there's only ever been one live action Doc and Marty. So
Yeah, that's a fair point.
What are your guys' favorite scenes and why? Just go into a lot of description about what your favorite scenes is. So, who wants to go first?
I can go first if you
Yeah,
like.
go for it.
Fine.
I think my favorite scene's got to be the Johnny Be Good at the end of the.
Yeah,
the
that's,
end of the
yeah, it's
film.
really good.
It's just so like it's after rewatching it. Obviously, a lot of the different scenes came to mind, but before that was like the main scene that stuck in my head for some reason. Like when I used to watch it over and over again as a kid.
Mhm.
That like now that's the main scene that stuck with me. So I think just like the whole fact of you got obviously that killer music, you got the brilliant line, well listen to this, and he holds up the thing and it's just brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's very good as well. Yeah, that's probably the most acceptable favorite scene thing. You know.
Mm.
Do you want me to go now?
Yeah, sure, okay.
Okay. So I'd say my favorite scene is probably the opening scene. I think it does a really good job of like introducing the kind of because it's with all the clocks, right? And it does a really good job of introducing how Doc is like a scientist, and then obviously then it kind of cuts to that like TV screen of saying the plutonium, like how it's been theft from like terrorists, which does factor into the plot later, which I think was really good. And then obviously we get Marty like arrives at the clock place, and he does that thing with a massive amplifier, blows it up, says rock and roll, and then gets like the call saying don't use the amplifier. I think it's just a good like comical kind of scene. And then obviously he skateboards to school, then gets shouted at by the principal. I think that's kind of when the opening kind of opens. But I think it's mainly the music and then just kind of how it introduces the movie and the tone and the vibe of it. I think it really does well. So I think the opening, maybe I'd say first 7-10 minutes, I think that's definitely my favorite part. What about you, Alfie?
Alfie, I choose you.
There's a lot of really good scenes to me, but I'd have to
Yeah,
say
it's hard.
overall, with like in atmosphere wise, I'm gonna have to go for the clock tower scene in 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
Or no, 1955 even.
yeah, that is.
I like it's just really intense, and you can see everything
Mhm.
starting to go wrong. Like the engine keeps cutting out.
Yeah.
Doctor nearly dies, but you can see like he keeps thinking on his feet, managed to wrap him down, gets everything together, and then just like it's over. You can see like all the different things just going out the window, but they still manage to pull it off, which I think is really cool because it's very intense. Because it's a very
Yeah.
unpredictable movie. It's not always protagonist is gonna live, because there are a lot
Yeah.
of things that went wrong in the movie for Marty. So this could
Yeah,
have
in that-
very
in that
been
last
one
scene,
of
it was
them.
always one
So
thing after
it's very.
another.
It creates a very good atmosphere of uncertainty whether they're actually going to pull it off or not, especially with all the different pinpoints of sort of scientific accuracies. So
And
the
the
fact
and
that,
the whole thing
we
of
have
like
to do
the
this. We have to start putting it on the gas when the clock goes off. The clock
88
went off, he
miles
couldn't
per
start the
hour.
engine, and the doctor wasn't ready either.
88
So
miles.
it's very intense, and that's what I really like.
Yeah.
That's so
I
yeah,
think
that probably
you
be my
worded that
favorite.
perfectly, to be honest.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna cut to the pizza list, so get ready. Okay, so it's the second episode of the Pizza Time podcast, and you've probably seen the first one if you're watching this one, hopefully. But obviously, at the end we do the pizza list, which is just a rating system that we invented where each of us get an out of 30 rating that will add up to 90, and then in those 30 ratings there's 10, so we go for there's like 3 10s that add up to 30. So obviously we have character, and then plot, and then we have overall enjoyment, and that will add up to 30, and then each person's 30 will add up to 90, and then that will be on our pizza list, which you can see on your screen right now, and that will be where we rate it. As you can see, Spider-Man is on better than a cheeseburger, but not the GOAT. So let's see where we put Back to the Future. Alfie, would you like to go first?
Yes, I shall. Okay, so starting off with the actual cast, I mean, the acting in all of them was very good. Some memorable characters that weren't used a lot, but should have been used a lot more, in my opinion. Like the dude from the diner who went to become mayor in 30 years. I really liked him. His acting is very well. Cafe owner. He's not really seen again after the first time, but I'd like to have seen him more. But overall, the cast is really good. Couldn't have really asked for better. So yeah, I think to me, I'm gonna give it an 8
Okay.
because I'm just gonna base it off of memorability, and they're very memorable.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. So for plot, what would you
Okay.
give it?
So I'm gonna move on with the plot. See, like I said before earlier, like it's very cliche time traveling, but it's at the same time it's very hard to pull off in a movie, and I think they've done that really well. You can see the actor of Marty McFly. He managed to just picture the confusion on his face when he kept saying things that didn't make a lot of sense to them. And I think that's really good acting from them, because it shows that no one has actually caught up with him in the future.
Yeah.
Because you can see, it's like, I know this episode when it was just released. It's like, I have 2 television sets. It's like, no one has 2 television sets in that time.
Mhm.
And I think it keeps going back and forth, and it plays with the characters really well to me. So I'm going to give it a 9. Because I
Okay.
really enjoyed it.
9 for the plot.
And overall
Then
enjoyment,
enjoyment.
I'm going to say, as a very unpopular opinion, to me, it's going to be...
Watch your words.
I'm going to say at the beginning, it's quite... I mean, there's better things I could be doing, to be honest. The middle part was very intriguing, because then it starts to fully show the characters, like, developing. Obviously, Marty's mum belongs to the streets. It's quite clear from the story. But then you can see
God.
George McFly's development, which I thought was really cool. I mean,
Oh my
we'll ignore
god.
the fact he knocked out a bully in one punch,
Yeah.
like a rugby playing
One
bully. Yeah, we should
punch, man.
ignore that. Yeah, we should completely ignore that.
Mhm.
So the movie was very good, kept you on your seat, made you interested from the middle to the end, and I think it definitely played around at the end, like sort of teased the sequel.
Yeah.
The CGI could have been better to me.
1985 though. I don't think you can. blame
Yeah, mind it is very old, so I'll throw it a bone there. But
Mhm.
it's nowhere near as bad as like the skeleton effects in Spider-Man. So I'm gonna go in between, and I'm gonna give it a 7.
them. Okay.
So fairly high ratings for me, and so that for me is a 24 out of 30. Okay, who wants to go
well,
next?
I can go
Cage?
next.
Yeah, you can go next. yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what characters first?
Yeah, go for it. Characters
Yes.
plot. Everyone go for it.
Lastly.
I think the whole story of like they did want Fox to be Marty first, and that was their first thought, the first person they wanted, and then they shot all these different scenes with this other actor, and then even then, as soon as they got him, he was able to actually join the movie. They just immediately reshot all the scenes with
Yeah, I
him.
kind of feel bad for the other guy though. He dropped
I
him.
mean, yeah, but he was a bit of a douche.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
I didn't know a lot about him, so he could be right.
but anyway, I think it definitely paid off. Like both Marty and Doc are like iconic. They're brilliant. And yeah, Doc's like whole when they first meet, and Marty's like having to convince him that he's from the future, and then he shows him like the camera and he's all like, oh wow, this is so amazing, being able to record everything, and like he's so quirky, Doc, being like when Marty says about the president, and he says, oh, what, the actor? And then when it comes to the camera thing, he's like, oh well, the president's an actor, he's gonna want a load of cameras.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just brilliant. I'm giving it a 9 in characters.
9, okay.
It's
Okay.
it's brilliant, amazing.
Plot.
Plot.
Next up, we have the plot. Yeah.
Obviously, with like I've said previously, the whole time travel biz is a bit difficult to deal with plot, but I think they handled it really well. I liked this. I just liked how it went. It does sort of drag at the start, but I think it is worth it.
You agree?
'Cause it comes
no,
into
I
clear.
think- But I think it's worth it later on when we get to see everything
Yeah,
how
that
it's
is very true.
changed. And I liked it from beginning, middle, and end. So I think I'm gonna give it. An 8. I really enjoyed it.
Right.
Was that 2 8s or an
Okay.
8 and a 9?
A 9 and an 8.
A 9 and 8,
I've got
yeah.
all-
Okay,
9
cool.
characters, 8. And then overall enjoyment, pure nostalgia. I used to watch this film on DVD all the time. I think with nostalgia, you're always like, oh, I remember this scene so much. Oh, I loved it so much. With rewatching it, I don't remember every single scene. So when I did rewatch it, it was just like a breath of fresh air, like being able to rewatch it again, like not knowing every single point. With some other movies that we will be talking about, or like even with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, watch it so many times and you remember every single bit, and like rewatching it becomes a bit like, I love this film, but I've seen it. But with this, I personally felt like it was just like rewatching it again, only knowing if the main points, but like still getting to see the rests with new eyes, or new-ish eyes. So I'm just giving it a 9 again.
That's
I
fair
think-
enough.
Okay.
I really liked it.
That's
Your
26.
overall score is a 26 out of 30. Yeah.
So we got
So
24,
at the moment,
26.
we have a 50
That is math.
out of 50 out of 60. Very good.
So I guess
Alright,
I'm
last
the
but not least is
overall
Goldie Blaze.
man. Yeah. Okay, so
Don't
let's,
disappoint.
I'm gonna go for characters first, like everyone else did. I think if we're gonna talk about the actual like writing of the characters, not the actors, like the actual characters, I think that was very good. I liked the transition. I like seeing them as older people and how they're kind of like not going so well, specifically the parents and people, and then going back and seeing them as they were young, and then coming back and seeing them they were doing better. I specifically like that. I think the character of Marty McFly and Doc was very good. I like their dynamic together. I do think it was a bit strange that Marty McFly, just like a casual kid in high school, somehow is just friends with like a radioactive disgraced scientist. You know, a bit strange. But I think the characters were really good. I generally think, and then actors, obviously, I think the performance was really good. And I think, like Alfie said, based it on memory and like iconic stuff, I really think Doc and like his lines like "Great Scott" that stuck with me, and now I'm saying it constantly after watching it for the first time. So I would 100% say characters. I'll give it a 9. I'll give characters a 9. Okay, so for plot then. Oh, okay. So this is where I'm gonna probably not go as high, because I really enjoyed the movie, but as like from like a writing standpoint, I think it was very good. And they for like the first instance, it shaped time travel movies forever. Like most of them were based off of it, and they use that same principle. But I just think it's really cool. It's a really cool like plot, and it's a very different idea to nothing's been done like that at that time. So, but then the only thing that's making me go a bit lower is the fact that for like a found movie, it made me feel slightly uncomfortable at those certain scenes. and I feel like it went a bit too far. At certain parts, they could
But
have
it was-
they could have dumbed it down a bit. To be fair.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. So I think I'll give it. I'm 7, not an 8. I'll give it 7, not an 8. So
Watch your back.
yeah, I'll give the plot 7 because it's not perfect but it's very out there and very different, and I think that's amazing. It's always good to see new ideas. But then for overall enjoyment, I think there wasn't, like, even for the first part, it was for me specifically, because obviously it's my turn. So I'd say I really enjoyed just the kind of nostalgia, but then I haven't actually lived that part. But just seeing what it was like back then, and seeing like the kind of like kind of rock and roll and like just like the loud music. I really did enjoy the first part, even though it was dragging on a bit. Because my dad was saying like, oh, pay attention to this part, it's gonna matter. So I kind of knew it was necessary to listen. So I think I'm gonna give overall enjoyment a 10, because I've really enjoyed it, and it's
10?
kind of got me.
Wow.
It's got me buzzing for watching
Damn.
number 2. So that is
Okay.
9, 7,
So that is a
10,
26.
26
When
as
we add that
well.
up all together, the power of my
76.
set 5 maths, that is a 76 out of 90.
That is a
which would
76
mean
out of
Cole.
90.
Damn.
Did it beat Spider-Man? I can't remember. Did it?
I think
That
it's
would
on the same
be-
line.
That would be a better than cheeseburger, but not the GOAT. So it's the
So
same
it's-
tier as
it's the same
Spider-Man
as
Spider-Man.
2002.
I think
And
that
I
is
can
pretty
agree
accurate.
with that, actually. I can
Yeah.
agree with that.
Mm.
I think if it was a bit higher, we would have been a bit like, and if it was a bit low, it would have been a bit like, So I think on the same lines,
Yeah.
I think that is kind of accurate. So yeah, Spider-Man and Back to
I
the
think
Future.
that's perfect, lads.
They're now officially ranked on the pizza list as
I
better
think,
than a
yeah,
cheeseburger, but
fair
not the GOAT. This might be a bit confusing for Spotify listeners who can't see the list, so I'd recommend maybe going on the YouTube video at some point. But yeah, that was the pizza list
Okay.
for Back to the Future completed. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, or listening if you're on Spotify. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you are on YouTube, and tell us in your comments your opinions and what other movies we should cover in the future podcasts.
I'll also let you guys know that this, if you couldn't tell already, this is a new structure of the way we're going to be doing the podcast. We're on about experimenting at the moment, and we want to see what structure's better for the things we do. Because if you couldn't tell, episode 1 was a bit long. So we're trying to just sort of compress it as much as we can, but we did get quite a bit sidetracked. So let us know in the comments what you think of this structure. Let us know if it's better, or if we should go back to what we did before. Your comments mean a lot, I must say. Because it helps us know where we're meant to go here, and it points us in the right direction.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below what the next movie you think we should watch and talk about. And like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you in the
Peace.
next one. Peace.